I had one particular example. There was a couple of questions asked about which toilet do you use. Another one was what surgery have you had, what surgery you're going to have, when are you planning to do all this. None of this is relevant in terms of the job I was applying for. It was quite intrusive. There are other occasions where you will get little remarks or the passing of notes between the interview panel, obviously making comments. And I must admit, I've never ever experienced anything like that beforehand. I mean, it's a real knock to your confidence.
Yeah.
Because you genuinely believe that people believe you're unemployable because you're transgender.
Gay, lesbian, bisexual or transgender people can often face more barriers than most in the industry. Much more needs to be done to create an inclusive environment in the workplace and for construction to be proactively encouraging a more diverse workforce. In Construction News' 2016 LGBT survey, 71% of respondents felt they could not be open about their sexuality or gender on construction sites. Half of respondents felt being LGBT prevented them from progressing in their careers. Things are improving. Construction News visited the LGBT March, Pride, in Birmingham this year to see firsthand the construction industry celebrating diversity.
We want to show that engineering companies dealing with construction, we're not sort of restricted. We want to get everyone involved.
In this episode, Construction News investigates how diversifying your company by proactively encouraging LGBT people into your workplace will enhance your business.
I think it's a different way of looking at things. Innovation. It would find and actually attract a better group of candidates, got a wider pool to look at.
There's really a lot of studies that demonstrate that having diverse teams leads to increased innovation. So you have benefits in terms of return on investment, people performing better, increased productivity of the workforce. Use your clients and use your supply chain, It shouldn't always be about contract-driven aspects. You can use inclusion to really build bridges between stakeholders and come back to what I said earlier, connecting on that human-to-human level.
Companies who employ more women are more likely to outperform companies who are less gender diverse by 15%. This rises to a whopping 35% for companies who are more ethnically diverse. And in the UK, companies which have a 10% higher gender, ethnic and racial diversity on management teams and boards had profit before tax that was 5.8% higher.
I would be cautious to claim that we don't know if we're attracting LGBT because we simply don't ask. So I don't think we really know. It's a well-known statistic that 62% of graduates who were out at university, when they start a company, they go back in the closet. That's not construction industry specific. It might be higher in the construction industry. We don't know.
It's the image more so than the reality. I've worked both from a client perspective and within Balfour Beatty as a contractor and a manager of subcontract organisations and smaller sort of parts of the supply chain. I never encountered any prejudice, any problems with that, never. The perception that people have of construction is that it's a very male-dominated, macho environment that is intolerant to diversity and to different work groups. That perception is probably something that's a legacy from maybe the 60s, 70s, early 80s. I don't think it's a reality in many organisations.
Millennials are more choosy than previous generations of graduates coming through, and quite right. And they will choose to work for a company that's more diverse, more inclusive, has a nicer atmosphere, and reflects the millennial generation's mindset, which I think is fantastic. I've sat on a panel of the main contractors, D&I people and HR people, and they're looking to try and make this happen. They want to make it happen.
You've got to look wider, you've got to look at the individual as what they will bring to work, not necessarily who they appear to be or how they present. It's about looking beyond that. So I think there's a lot more things like unconscious bias training, taking that away from people, understanding the diversity of the candidate pool as well. I know in Glasgow, one young lady has just gone into the shipbuilding industry. She transitioned when she was 13 at school. She's now an engineering apprenticeship.
Take advice on how to do it. Reach out, ask around. You're not the only organisation that's gone through it. You know, many competitors and clients will have gone through it and are more than willing to share, usually, their support, their resources. Don't reinvent the wheel. You know, there's terms of references that are out there for, you know, setting up employee resource groups or policies for transgender individuals or adoption policies that are inclusive for surrogacy arrangements, you know.
I think they need to better understand the diversity of the candidate pool that's available to them. There are a lot more younger trans people working in engineering, in science, technology, project management than there were before. People are coming out a lot younger, so you're less likely to see people transitioning later in life because it's a safe space in society now to do it when you're younger.
I think if you've got a message coming from high that then disseminates down within the industry, and you've got visibility there and you've got real support for the diversity and inclusion programs within our industry, I think that carries so much weight, and it gives everybody on the ladder going down from the senior management real support. And that arm around the shoulder to say we understand for some people this is a struggle, and we're doing our best at the senior level to make that transition easier, make it easy for everybody to work in this industry and be happy in this industry.
Construction is quite traditional. It's very much male and pale and stale. You just have to look at construction sites, both from a trades aspect and also from a project management aspect, you know, construction management all the way up to boards of directors. They really need to embrace diversity and equality. And more importantly, they will benefit from that diverse workforce because they bring different aspects to work, different innovations, different skill set, different knowledge.
At this firm, everybody wears rainbow lanyards. Whether you're in the LGBT network or recognise or represent as LGBT or not, everybody wears them. And that came from our senior management down. And so now everybody wears them, and it's incredibly empowering, actually. It is a small thing, but it makes such a difference. If companies can find similar ways of making such a difference, because it makes me feel as a gay person that everybody here has my back because they are wearing the LGBT sign of the rainbow. And to them, they don't give it a second thought because why would they? Everybody that works here is cool, they're inclusive, but it gives you that arm around the shoulder. So if you could replicate that on a building site, that would be fantastic.
You rely upon your senior leadership team around you to report back on, you know, what's happening in the business. Sometimes stuff gets filtered that's coming to your ears. Reverse mentoring. Start having direct channels right down to those lower levels so that you've then got conduits of information right to your ear, and then you get the real deal. You're told what's happening.
Much more needs to be done to create an inclusive environment in the workplace and for construction to be proactively encouraging a more diverse workforce. But showing that your company is diverse and inclusive goes beyond waving a flag once a year, and to demonstrate this is essential. After all, the business case for diversity is overwhelming. Showing you are a company that cares about its diversity and inclusivity agenda is also crucial to attract in a desirable pool of young millennial talent. The bottom line is that diversity can bring huge benefits to your company. With this in mind, do Sarah, Mark or Amanda feel that being LGBT can prevent them or others from advancing their career in construction?
I've really only had a positive experience, to be honest. I consider myself a construction lawyer who happens to be gay. So I've been working with some other law firms and some industry bodies to put together off-site to help LGBT professionals in their careers in the construction industry. So we provide a network for people who recognise themselves as LGBT to come together.
Being trans has not held me back, I don't think. Certainly now I've embraced it, and some of that is also about the individual having confidence. And in my early days of transition, that was one of the areas you get confidence by positive experiences. Because people support you, because you feel supported, you will stretch the boundaries. Sometimes you will do things that you wouldn't normally have done. That's a massive boost to confidence. Makes you an incredibly loyal employee as well, because you feel valued. And I think if you feel valued by an organisation, you will go that extra mile to do something extra for the company.